Year's Eve, everybody. Am I the arsehole for enjoying my job even though my boyfriend and his mum think I'm neglecting him? I'll stop being petty and you stop being a dick. Would I be the arsehole if I refused to shave my armpits for my best friend's wedding? Bald pits! I'm young, wild and bushy. I've started dating my best guy friend of 10 years. Kissed, you've had a cuddle, you've sucked a dick. Am I the arsehole for kicking out my brother after I caught him making OnlyFans with my wife?
Hi, can I order tea and 2 sugars, please?
Hello guys and welcome back to Tea and 2 Sugars. I'm Tatty, your host. Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. I don't know about anyone else. I'm so glad to see the back end of fucking 2025. I'm so excited for 2026. I just have the best feeling. We're going to have so many good times this next year. I can feel it coming for all of us. I have a thing about years with like even numbers in it. I think that's just what I'm made for. You know, today's episode, we are going to be doing our usual antics. I am feeling in my feels today. I'm feeling quite calm. I did have a cute little Celsius before this episode to, like really amp shit up. So we'll wait for that to kick in, shall we? Anyway, in my drink category today, we're taking it old school, my dudes. We're going back to the Pepsi Max, my absolute favourite. Can pop. Oh, this one has been marinating, guys. This one has been in my fridge for like 3 weeks. And you know, if you know about marinating your soft drinks, you know that this is gonna slap. I would love to know where you are listening. If you're listening, getting ready to a little New Year's Eve party, or if you are just staying in, let me know your plans. I don't know what I'm doing at this moment in time. I don't know if I'm going to Amelia's. I don't know if I'm staying in. She did mention it at some point. So maybe I'll be listening to this, getting ready to go to a New Year's Eve party, or I'll be listening to it, getting ready to sit on my couch and have a picky tea. I don't really have any New Year's resolutions. Do you guys? Probably just, I don't know. Also, I've just looked at myself in the camera and I've been like, we look so bare without our gorgeous little stockings behind me. I hope you guys are enjoying your little giveaway goodies if you did win. Thank you so much for all of your support on that. Let me know if you want me to do more of those, but do you know what? I do love the lamps. I do love the lamps. I think the lamps just like, they give like rich bitch vibes, you know? I'm also wearing a skirt and I am aware that you can see my leg. It's kind of making me feel a little uncomfortable. I'm going to put my legs down here. Let's get into my boiling point and my 2 sugars for this week. So to start, actually, my 2 sugars, I have, again, show and tell for you all. Hang on, let me have a little sip of this. It's calling my name. Can you hear that? Can you hear that frothy? Right. Anyway, in my 2 sugars, I bought show and tell. I was doing my hair the other week on live and loads of people were asking what I was using. I'd like to introduce you to one of my favourite companies for when it comes to a slick back, the Smooth Company. So today, to do my slicky slick, I've used the Slick brush. God, it's covered in my hair. This one has my name on it, which is tight, if you didn't know. And then I sprayed the detangling spray in it. This is hydrolyzed wheat protein and provitamin B5. It helps to strengthen the hair, anti-frizz, it's got a bit of heat protectant in there, but I just use this to get a bit of like slip in my hair. And then I cannot rave about this product enough. It is also from the Smooth Company and it's their Smooth Dream 11-in-1 nourishing hairstyling cream. So I use this to like kind of like in space of a gel, However, I've also used this on days when I've done updos because it's like a styling cream. It's got a bit of movement to it as well. So if I want it to stay and slick my hair back like today, it will. But when I'm doing like a tousled updo, when I've got flyaways, I'll just put a little bit of this on my hands and just slightly dab it. And it doesn't make my hair go crunchy. I've actually lost the cap for this, so I'm playing with fire here. This has got B5 and argan oil, and it's, like a flexible hold. I can't rave about this enough. And then accompanied with the Slick brush, it's just a dream. So that's my first sugar for today. Also, guys, if I'm covered in white fluff, it's from my Christmas presents from my previous episodes. They're like on the couch and in the cushions, and I can't get it all off. So I can only apologise. Like, I promise I'm not flaky. So that's my first sugar. And my second sugar is these little Kiss eyelash clusters. I'm really, really into these at the minute. This is the style 100G. It says at the top, and these are my absolute favourite ones. I've been wearing these for maybe a year and a half, 2 years maybe. This is my absolute style. And I've started wearing them if I'm going out for dinner. They just add the slightest little pizzazz to your eye. I don't wear them as like an eyelash extension. I just stick them underneath my lashes for, like a lash vibe. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but they're just the best. And these ones genuinely just look like your eyelashes. They're so good. And you can reuse them. They last ages. They don't, when like a lash band breaks and it's kind of annoying. Yeah, these don't do that. They're very, very nice. I have 2 on today, actually. So that's my 2 sugars. My boiling point. I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't do a boiling point. Maybe? I don't know. I don't want to end the year on a neggy vibe. Let me have a quick think. Oh, I know. I've been overheating quite a lot recently. I just can't regulate. I think it's a hormone thing, being completely honest. I think it's a hormone thing. I just get really hot out of nowhere. It's happening right now. I don't know why. I just get really bad hot flushes. And then at night at night in the evening when I'm trying to chill the fuck out, I'll go really cold. And then I'll get this like burst of heat. It's like a fire. Anyway, who knows what that's about? Should we get into today's episode then? We've got Teeny and Joe. Our little Joel has gone back to the North Pole and we'll see him next year. Teeny and Joe are here. My little besties. They're so fucking cute. I can't deal with them. I hope you can see them. Anyway, let us begin, my dudes. Let us begin. Sip, sip, motherfuckers. Okay, this is a little tricky one sent by one of our girlies. Am I the arsehole for enjoying my job even though my boyfriend and his mum think I'm neglecting him? Story time. Hi, Tatty. Sorry, this may be a long one. Me and my boyfriend have been together for 2 years and living together for a year. All was going swimmingly. Or so I thought. My birthday is the first week of January and he was desperate to do something for it, whereas I had a busy work Christmas, and as a manager in hospitality, it wasn't a big birthday. I just wanted to chill. I understand that. Maybe go for a little shopping day, have a Chinese on the sofa type situation. While shopping, he seemed incredibly grumpy. Cue the first argument of the year. Fucking hell, we're only in January. It was about how ungrateful I was that I didn't want to do anything on my birthday. Then in May of this year, I got approached by a company to apply for a position they had going, which was a lot closer to home. It was more money and very highly rated company, which I was, what was I to lose? So I applied, as you damn well should, especially if you've been headhunted. Turns out I had absolutely nothing to lose because I got the job. I love it so much. Even with the late nights, working weekends, stress of managing a team, keeping guests happy, etc., I still love it and probably always will. However, apparently I'm not at home enough and prioritise work over him. These comments have also come from his mum. Oh, boring. Come from his mum, who feels, and I quote, you ready for this? Her little boy isn't getting looked after. Well, first of all, dickhead, your little boy's a man and doesn't need looking after. So the next argument came when we attended my best friend's husband's 30th birthday party, which I was so excited for because it's not often the friendship group all get together, with having work, families, just live stuff. My boyfriend sat in the corner and said a word to no one. He had one beer and got his sister to come and collect him. When I asked why, he said he didn't feel comfortable and barely knew anyone. Well, doesn't it seem like an appropriate time then, Steve, to start mingling? Such a loser. This upset me as he spent time with all my friends before, and as someone who was quite social and outgoing, I didn't want him to feel uncomfortable, but also didn't want to be dragged down by him. I stayed at the party and had a great night with the girls and their partners, who were less than happy to see he had put zero effort in. Yeah, I can understand that. When I got home, we sat and had a chat that we had been invited to 2 weddings later on in the year, and how would he feel about going to those, and he said that he would let me know. Right, so you're like, listen, you're going to behave like that at all the parties that we get invited to this year, or you're going to chill the fuck out, get to socialising with people, and he's like, I'll let you know. No, Steve, it's a fucking wedding, right? We have to let people know these things far in advance because of logistics and da-da-da, da-da-da. Again, this hurt me as the weddings were both very good friends of mine. And why couldn't he just show up for just 2 days for me this year? Or am I just selfish for asking this? The first wedding rocked around and he decided he wasn't booking a holiday day from work and worked it instead. I thought, like at the 30th party, I would be okay surrounded by friends. And I was until the couples got up to have the first dance. Oh my God. And I was stood alone at the back of the room, not even a weird uncle to dance with. When I told him that this upset me and I felt alone, he said it was my fault as I didn't seem asked about him going anyway and that he thought I would be fine. The second wedding came around. Oh my God. Second wedding came around and I thought he may have changed his mind after seeing how upset I was the first time. When he casually announces he'll be going to London for the weekend with his friends to a video gaming convention. Big yawn. Big yawn from me for Steve here. Meaning that once again, I'd be attending yet another wedding alone. Although this time I did get to have a first dance with the bride's brother and had a great time. However, the argument soon started when he messaged saying I looked beautiful and that he wished I could rip my dress off. And when I replied, saying that if he wanted to rip it off that much, then he should have been here, not in London. He told me to stop being petty. I'll stop being petty when you stop being a dick. You should have slept with the brother. My friend group now don't want to invite him to any social gatherings, and I completely understand why. But I'm slowly reaching the end of my tether and feel dragged down and that my sparkle has washed away as I can't seem to do anything right. The constant digs about my job and not being at home enough really gets to me, as I love my job and I really am good at it. I also spent years going to social situations on my own when I was single, and I'm supposed to be in a loving relationship, yet I am still attending on my own. So, is enough enough? Hell yeah. Here's the thing. Steve's upset that you have this blossoming career and that you are doing incredibly well in this job, and he isn't spending enough time with you. However, when the time comes for him to get to spend the time with you, he doesn't want to. What I'm getting there is that Steve is jealous of you. Steve is jealous of you for your blossoming career and how well you're doing, and he doesn't like that. He wants to keep you small. He wants to keep you dull, which, like you said, he's dulling your sparkle. And if there's one thing I'm not going to let a man do to you, babe, is dull your sparkle. Steve is jealous of you and how well you're doing. He wants to be around people that he feel are of his caliber, which is why he's spending time with his friends, because I'm sure that's what he relates to, the fact that they are, on his level. Your friends clearly are high vibe, high energy people, and he's not. What has he got in common with them? Nothing. No wonder he can't talk to them. No wonder he feels like he can't say anything, because he isn't the same energy. I need you to be with a man who pushes you to strive at work, who wants you to succeed, who wants you to have your career and your profession. And you make it work. I'm sure you still have fucking days off, let's be real. You book days off together to spend time together. If we're going to a wedding, we're booking that weekend off together so we can have the travel time there, we can have the night, we can get a hotel, we can do all of these things. We make it an occasion. You put the effort in for your partner. The time comes in a relationship where it's not easy, where things aren't just free flowing and, we have weeks off together and we have days off and X, Y, Z. You have to put that effort in. Steve doesn't want to. Steve is more than happy to book off days to go to this videoing convention. It's because, again, like I said in last week's episode, Don't let a man tell you he doesn't like you twice. I don't want this for you. If I was your friend, also it gets so messy, doesn't it, when your friends don't like your partner? You feel like you can't approach them with things. They know what you could have, and you're not getting that from Steve. So, yeah, I think that's why they're not happy. You're clearly not happy. And the relationship can be incredible in other areas, but if you're not feeling fulfilled socially and you can't feel like you can be around your friends with Steve, then it's not worth it, babe. You have said yourself, it's what have you said? I also spent years going to social situations on my own. I'm going to say it. I think Steve only wants the physical side of your relationship. Do we get that vibe? Does everyone else get that vibe? I think he enjoys having a sexual partner and someone to come home to and kiss and cuddle and do the nasty with. But he doesn't want to do anything that involves supporting you, showing up for you, being around your friends, being in social situations, actually hanging out with you. Because it's not like, well, correct me if I'm wrong, he's not like, should we do this evening? And you're like, sorry, I've got work. It doesn't seem like he's putting the effort in there, Anyway, I believe enough is enough. Sip, sip. Okie dokie. Our next story is one of those I'm kind of a bit like, how would I feel? How would I truly feel as both the writer and the bride in this situation? Would I be the arsehole if I refused to shave my armpits for my best friend's wedding? Story time. So I am 26 and I stopped shaving my armpits a few years ago and found that I greatly preferred not having bald pits. Bald pits! That's so fun to say. Bald pits! Sorry. I'm a sweaty person and having hair prevents my pits from getting swampy and sweating off every single deodorant or antiperspirant known to man. I also have very sensitive skin and get horrible rashes and razor burns from shaving. My decision to not shave my armpits is primarily personal, but I am aware that it is going against societal and gender norms and is therefore inherently political or subject to being politicised. Under no circumstances, though, am I refusing to shave solely to make a political statement. Is this like, I'm young, wild, and bushy? Like, the issue here, my friends are getting married next year in summer and they've invited me to their wedding. What? Hang on. So it's not even like you're in the bridal party. I was like, God, if you're, a bridesmaid and you're like, wow, in a picture and you've just got like bush under armpit, like I can understand that might be a little confronting to some people, but it's not even like, what? The fuck? It's also a destination wedding, and many of the wedding party events will involve wearing a swimsuit or clothes that expose my armpit hair, as it is summer in Mexico. Mexico! Don't drink the water! I asked about the dress code for various events, and both the bride and the groom said that they won't be strict on dress code as long as everyone is well groomed. That's a little shady, if you ask me. I figured I knew what that meant, considering I do a professional job, but then they took this conversation as an opportunity to warn me that some other guests may be uncomfortable with the fact that I don't shave. I reminded them that they invited me to this wedding with the full knowledge that I don't shave my armpits, as it's not exactly a secret. Sorry, can I also just add that it doesn't matter? What? Are we that arsed? If it bothers people that much, can we not wear a cap sleeve? Or a little chiffon sleeve? Does it really matter? Is that the most interesting thing that's going to be happening at your wedding, my armpit hair? They said that they assumed I shaved for special events where I needed to look presentable. I said I always look presentable for special occasions and that shaving my armpits has nothing to do with that. Duh! If people take an issue to it, that is their problem. Now they're accusing me of trying to take attention from their wedding by making a political statement. I think this is saying more about them than it is you, babe. I told them that I'm not doing it at all and that I don't shave because it's a personal preference, but I ultimately got a whatever you say response. I don't feel like these people actually like you. I wasn't even thinking about my armpit hair until they brought it up. I even said I can trim it a little. Oh, girl. And they said it would still be distracting. I've also explained to them my skin sensitivity, but they seem dead set on believing I don't shave to make a statement. They've said, well, you're a feminist, so there's no way it's not a political statement. They're making me feel like an arsehole, that's for sure. But am I really the arsehole? I think they're worried that their wedding is going to be inherently boring and that your armpit hair is... Also, can I just add something here? How often are we lifting our arms up? Like, woo! Are they on the... Is that what they're worried about? Woo! I can't lift my arms up in this jumper, hilariously. I think that they're worried about pictures, and I just don't see why we're that bothered. I could understand a bit more if you were in the bridal party and they wanted like the pictures to look a certain way, but you're literally, respectfully, you're literally just a guest. So what's the issue? And there's way more things you could do to fix this than, can you not, like I say, wear a little cap sleeve or even an off-the-shoulder number like myself right now, you know? So it's still flowy, that's going to keep you cool. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't have to tailor your outfit because of a political statement that they think you're trying to make. I think they're projecting their own views onto you, and it very much gives me the vibe that they have had a conversation about your body hair behind your back, and there's been some yapping, bitchiness about your personal preferences. You get me? I understand where they're coming from, and like, you're not that I agree with it, but I do think there has been this narrative so far that people that don't shave are like hippie, feminist, fuck the system, fuck the patriarchy. But does it matter? If that's the most important thing to them on their wedding day, they've got some serious, you know. So what do we do from this situation? What do we do moving forward? Here's the thing. You could, you know, just to make things easy for everyone, could you wax? Just get it off, get it gone. Sugar wax. I'm a big fan of a wax myself. I have very sensitive skin too, and it does help me. Or just accept that they are obsessed with you. They clearly are. They clearly have some weird obsession with you if they think that that's going to be the main point of the day. I think they're just insecure that your body hair is going to upstage them. And that just shows that they're boring. Boring. Nigel Farage. Boring. That's my opinion. It depends how much of a people pleaser you want to be. I don't want you to be in pain or anything like that. I would suggest a wax. It's going to be gentler. It's going to hurt more, but it's going to be gentle overall. Or if you really don't want to shave and you don't want to piss them off, let's work on what we can wear. But again, it's fucking summer in Mexico. We want to be young, wild, and free. You know, it's a really shit one. I think it says a lot more about them than it does you, Sunshine. So I'd be interested to see what you guys think in the comments. What should she do? Sound off. Let's go on to our next one. This one is tricky. Tricky. I've started dating my best guy friend of 10 years, but I haven't developed a romantic feeling or attraction to him. What do I do? Story time. Oh, hi, Tatty. I could really use some advice right now. I'm sorry that this is going to be a bit long, but I have to give context to be able to ask for help. Okay, we love context. We love all the info. It feels like we're having a little girly catch up. So I'm 24 and I started dating one of my best friends who is 27 about a month ago. Sorry, I'm so giddy already. God. To make a long story short, we have always been very good friends and we've had a connection between us. We have the same sense of humour, the same values, and most of our friends are in common. My family and close friends also love him. We are just a very good match on paper, and we have always had something special that I don't have with any of my other male friends. After about 2 years ago, both of us happened to be single at the same time, and he started to flirt with me at parties. He'd stroke my leg. He'd stroke my leg and would sit very close to me, but nothing more obvious than that. Babe, be so real. I don't mind it, since I had always wondered if there could be something more between us. A couple months passed by, and then he wrote to me and asked me out on a date. I sort of panicked, because that's when I got confirmation that he was actually flirting with me. I wanted to say yes and give it a shot, but at the same time I was too scared to hurt him if it didn't end up catching feelings for him in the end. I was terribly scared to hurt him and hurt our friendship, since I've known him since we were 14. I write back to him and thanked him very much for asking the question, but said I was too scared to mess things up. What we had already was incredibly special, and I wasn't sure on my feelings. We never ever brought this up and talked about it afterwards. We just acted like it never happened. Steve loves you. Steve loves you. About 2 months ago, he asked me out. He met his now ex-girlfriend. About 2 months ago, he asked me out. He met his now ex-girlfriend. I still felt really bad about turning him down, since I wasn't that. I still felt really bad about turning him down, because it wasn't that I didn't want to try and date him, but more the fact that I was too scared to risk everything and try dating. I therefore got very anxious and sad when he met his ex, even though I was happy for him that he was able to move on. Right, so I see. You've rejected him. He's then met his ex 2 months later. You've gone, fuck, that could have been me, but, I didn't. Yeah, I understand. Flash forward to today. Since about a year ago, the both of us have been single again. More leg rubs coming your way. And I have never really been able to go, oh God, this is awful. And I've never really been able to let go of the fact that he asked me out, since I never felt like I got to explain to him the reasoning behind turning down the date. And the reasoning being that I was too scared to ruin something between us, when what I really wanted to do was go on the date and just see what happened. Since I haven't been able to fully let this go still, I wanted to bring up the elephant in the room and just touch on the fact that when he asked me out, we never actually talked about it afterwards, and that this weighs heavy on me. About a month ago, when we were hanging out, I finally brought it up. Since then, we have started dating, we have hung out, kisses, and done way more things, but no sex. I told him from the beginning that I wanted to take things incredibly slow, and that I wasn't completely sure of my feelings, but I wanted to give it a go and see what would happen. We agreed on all of this. Here's what I need advice on. The dilemma here is that I wanted to give it a good try and see if it could develop into something more between us. But I have now realised that I don't have any romantic feelings for him, and that I am just not sexually attracted to him. Basically, my biggest fear of hurting him and not feeling as much as he does for me as I could has now come true. I don't want him to feel like I'm stringing him along or anything. That is my worst nightmare. That's why I want to tell him this and to stop dating before it goes any further. How do I tell him this? How do I break it to him that I don't have romantic feelings for him and have not developed anything on my end? I of course understand that he will be upset and hurt. How do I go about this in the best way? Also, am I the arsehole in all of this? I feel so incredibly guilty that I have not developed any feelings for this amazing man when I know I should have done. Help and advice is very much appreciated. Here's the thing. I feel like if we should have had a level of physical and sexual attraction for this man before we started to date him. That should have been, there, oof, ready to go. Even like the first moment that you guys kissed, there should have been, wapow, kaboom, something. That kind of gives you the indication that you really want to rip this man's clothes off. But there hasn't been. You've done, what has it been, like a month? I think you just need to sack this off whilst you still can before he gets any more invested, and then you know that this is done. You gave it a good go, and you never know, Steve might be feeling the same. And now that this is something that you've given a go. There's no what ifs, buts and maybes. You've given it a go. You've kissed, you've had a cuddle, you've sucked a dick, you know? And that's great. I also feel like in the years prior when you were just friends, if you guys were meant to be together, there would have been a drunken kiss. There would have been something more than a leg touch every now and again. I think. That's what I would think in this situation. I think you just need to get it gone. Get it cut off sooner. You need to be incredibly honest with him. Don't take it any further than where you are now. It's so hard when you've been friends with someone for an incredibly long time to switch how you see that person. I think that sexual attraction and that wanting to rip his clothes off that would have been there the entire friendship, that there would have been so much pent up that the moment you did kiss, it would have been sparks flying, you know? We'd have been in bed, rolling round. Birds and the bees in it up. I think when you've been friends with someone for that long, that would just occur randomly. But you know now, you've given it a go. Steve may feel the same. It's going to hurt him, but I think it's better to do it now than let it go any further. It's only been a month or two. Let's cut that tie. I do maybe think the friendship would be affected. But, you guys are friends. You've been through it once before. He's asked you out. You've rejected him. He's given you another go. It's just one of those. It may take a little while for things to get back to normal. It's also going to be fucking awkward for Steve to explain to you to explain to your future partners that, oh, this is Steve. We had a thing. We may still have a thing. But, you can't help your feelings at the end of the day. You can't help what the heart wants. And maybe you are just meant to be friends. And that's lovely. What a lovely thing to have. I think. God, I don't know. I need to stop talking. Let's move on quickly before I keep rambling further. Well, this next story is quite simply awful. Am I the arsehole for kicking out my brother after I caught him making OnlyFans with my wife? Story time. That'll do it. So I'm 34, I'm a software engineer and I work from home 3 days a week. My brother is 29 and has been finding himself since he dropped out of grad school. When he asked to crash at our place temporarily, I said, of course, yes, because that's what family does. My wife seemed fine with it too. She's 31 and a part-time yoga instructor. Whoa! Get it, Steve! She's flexible! Sorry. The first year was whatever. He'd sleep till noon, play video games, occasionally apply for jobs he had no intention of taking, and I paid for everything. Groceries, utilities, his phone bill. He couldn't afford anything. My wife kept saying he needed time and support. I bet she did. Year 2. He started getting really into content creation. Set up ring lights in the guest room, bought a nice camera with the money I'm pretty sure came from my credit card he borrowed once and never gave back. He said he was building a personal brand. I figured YouTube or Twitch or something. Oh my God. Oh my God, he's used your credit card to buy OnlyFans equipment. Oh my God. My wife started helping him with the social media presence. They'd spend hours together working on captions and hashtags. Do you know what? If you can spend hours working on captions and hashtags, I commend that. That's quite impressive because, God, that's boring. I didn't think anything of this. She was being nice to my brother. I was busy with work, pulling extra hours to cover all of the expenses since I was now supporting 3 people on one salary. Last month, I came home early from a client meeting that got cancelled. The house was very quiet. I went upstairs to grab my laptop from the office. The door was locked. We've never locked the interior doors. I knocked and heard scrambling inside. My wife's voice saying, "Just a second," in a very weird, high-pitched way. When she opened the door, she was in lingerie that I had never seen before. My brother was behind her, shirtless and holding a camera. At what point do we consider physical violence? There was a setup with professional lighting and a backdrop. My desk was pushed against the wall and they'd moved in a small couch that, again, I didn't recognise. My wife started crying immediately, saying it wasn't what it looked like. Amy, you're hardly crocheting, you know? Wasn't what it looked like. My brother just stood there with his arms crossed and said, I think we need to talk about this like adults. I think, Steve, you need a punch in the face, personally. I completely lost it. I started yelling, asking what the hell was going on in my own home. My brother got defensive and said they'd been running an OnlyFans together for 8 months and that they'd made over 200 grand and was finally financially independent. He said I should be happy for him. Well, pay me back! Pay me back then, if you've made nearly $250,000 in 8 months. You can pay me back. Why don't you move out, dickhead? Also, what? You're sleeping with my wife. I told him to get out, pack his shit and leave. My wife was still crying, begging me to calm down and to let them explain. She said it was just a business and they never actually had sex. It was just photos and videos that looked suggestive. She swore nothing physical happened between them. I think the fact that you stood there in lingerie is probably a bit of an overstep. My brother actually laughed, and he said, don't be such a prude. This is 2024. Sex work is the real work. Nothing against sex work here, but, don't do it with your brother's wife. I told him he had 24 hours to be gone. He said fine. He didn't need much charity anymore anyway and walked out. He's like, fuck you, I don't need you. I've been shagging your wife for money. My wife followed him downstairs and I heard them talking in low voices for 20 minutes before he finally took off. She's like, hey, listen, so you transfer me my cut of the money, right? 100 grand, 6 figures in my bank account. We'll see if we can make this work somewhere else. We can get an office, we can get a space, we can get a studio space. We can still keep this going, all right? That's what I'm imagining. Right. She came back and tried to explain everything. How they had started it because she felt financially dependent on me and wanted her own income. How my brother suggested it because he knew about lights and angles. How it was always supposed to be temporary, but the money was just too good. She kept insisting that they maintained boundaries, never did anything explicit. It was all very implied content. I asked to see the account. Bad boy move. What a bad boy piece of information. She refused, said it would just make things worse. That made me more suspicious. He should subscribe. You need to subscribe. They had almost 3,000 subscribers at £25 a month. The photos were way more than suggestive. They were posted to look like they were together. Intimate. There were comments from subscribers asking when they do more explicit content. I've heard this from our OnlyFans, like there's always pressure to do more and more explicit stuff. Asking if they were a real couple. My brother had used the money to buy a Tesla. I saw it parked outside when I drove past our coffee shop the other day. He was sitting in there on his phone and saw me and didn't even look guilty. The real kicker came at Christmas Eve. My parents host every year and I wasn't going to go, but my mum guilt-tripped me. My brother showed up like nothing had happened. My wife stayed at home, so she said she didn't feel welcome. Yeah. After dinner, my brother cornered me in the garage. He said I was overreacting, that my wife and him had creative partnership. If that's what you want to call it, Steve, fine. He said I should be thanking him for helping her become financially empowered instead of being a jealous child about it. I punched him square in the lip. Yeah. Split his chin. My dad had to pull us off. My whole family was staring. My mum started crying and my brother told everyone what had happened, made it sound like I was just trying to keep his wife from starting a business and was controlling and abusive. Half the family think I'm the arsehole for hitting him and kicking him out. They keep saying he's young. He's 29. I don't think that's that. He's young. Where is it? I'm just trying to make money. That I'm too sensitive about OnlyFans. My mum says I should apologise and let him come back until he finds an apartment. My wife moved out last week. She's staying with her sister. She says we need counselling, but I told her I want a divorce. She's been blowing up my phone, telling me we're throwing away a marriage over a misunderstanding, that they never touched each other inappropriately. I saw the photos. I saw how they looked at each other. And as he's my brother in the family home and was using my furniture and my space to do this behind my back for months, was I wrong? Yeah, I think that your brother and your wife were having sexual intercourse before that. Then they tried to monetize it on the pretense of, I want to make money. Blah, blah. You know, can your brother not do sex work with other people? Does it need to be with the wife? There were obviously conversations about this many, many times. They were doing it behind your back, which is a obvious lie. Duh. And be all and end all, you don't deserve that, Steve, which is something I never thought I'd say. You don't deserve that. This, if you're going to be doing OnlyFans in a relationship, there needs to be open communication, open boundaries, and the partner that isn't doing the OnlyFans needs to be able to set boundaries that they are comfortable with, and the fact that they lied about it was just unacceptable, in my personal opinion. I don't know what type of counselling you could do to improve this. I think divorce is a very fair resolution to it. There's so many things that go against this. The fact that you were just trying to help out your brother and this is how he repays you. Well, he hasn't repaid you. Your wife, you were supporting all three of you guys, and he was doing jack shit. So yeah. I don't think you're the arsehole at all. I don't think you're the arsehole at all. Guys, we are going to finish the last ever episode of 2025 there. I hope you guys have the most fantastic year in 2026. Please stay safe if you're out celebrating tonight. Treat each other with kindness. I don't know where we're going with this. I'm just a bit delusional at this point. Thank you for a fantastic year. I couldn't have expected the success we've achieved, and I can't wait to see where we go with the next year. Again, I have something very, very exciting launching next week, and I will see you for that. Love you so, so much. Happy New Year.
Please fill my cup. Am I really asking for much? It's been a long week, I'm looking for fun. Please fill my cup. Find me under the sun. SOS, I'm just looking for a good time. Oh, 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 oh. And I'm singing like, whoa.